We're live.
Hello, namaste, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening in whichever part of the world you are. My name is Ajit Kadakol. I'm a surgeon practicing in Michigan. We have on the panel Mr. Ashok Buddy with us also. And today we have the honor of interviewing Renee Lynn, who is a uh, India activist. She has an organization called Voice for India. So we are all excited to hear her views about a number of issues. Many of you might know Renee very well. She has a lot of YouTube videos, Facebook posts, and she's also on Twitter, I think. Her views are well known, and she is a very active voice for India in the US here. She has traveled to India a lot. She came into contact with India and Indian culture through her life in New Jersey, and she felt that the Indian way of life is logically the uh, very correct way of life, and she is attracted to India and Hinduism. And I understand that she travels to India almost twice a year, I think. And when she comes back to India, I hear that she misses India a lot. And we would like to hear a little bit about that from uh, her rather than me. You can know all this by watching her videos on YouTube. So, Renee, the first question for Indians throughout the world, there are quite a few men and women in the Western world that get somehow drawn towards India and get attracted towards its philosophy, its religion, its culture, also its food, its festivals, etc. And then very few of them actually go on to become active voices for India. We would like to know from you, you being an American woman, born and raised in New Jersey, um, how you this came about, and uh, please answer also why you think the Indian way of life, the Hindu way of life, the Indian culture is the way to go.
Okay, so for me personally, and also there's some other Western people too. I'm sure you all heard of David Frawley. So when I first came to India in 2009, I was just taken by the culture. It was just mind blowing. And as a world traveler and traveling all around the world, I've never experienced what I experienced in India, the hospitality. When I went there, a simple gesture like namaste and how they were touching my feet, and it was just a beautiful culture. So, and I didn't see that in all these countries as a world traveler, traveling all around the world. So that's why I've been back to India 23 times now, because I fell in love with India. I fell in love with its people, and I just love the whole atmosphere in India. So, and coming from a Christian background, and we all know in certain religions, as in Christianity and Islam, it can be very brutal, the teachings. For me, growing up in the Christian church, the pastors would always preach. Their main line is, you have to accept Jesus Christ or you're going to burn in hell forever. And that causes a lot of stress on people, a lot of anxiety, and it really brings a lot of shame and guilt, so to say. So, and my whole life, I've always liked to question certain aspects of life. So I would be like, well, if that's true, that if we don't accept Jesus as our personal Savior, the whole entire world is going to die in hell. The whole entire world. To me, it wasn't logical and it wasn't practical, because you preach that God is love, that Jesus is love, but yet your preachings are, we're going to suffer forever and ever and ever. So, and as a world traveler, looking at different cultures and examining different cultures, I was blown back by Hinduism and India and all the other countries. And that's when I started learning about Hinduism and Indian philosophy. I started doing yoga. I started doing meditation. I started learning about Hinduism and became a Hindu and a vegetarian back in 2006. And that was the best decision of my life when I started to learn about yoga and meditation and Indian philosophy, and all my trips back and forth to India. It opened my eyes. It's so practical and so logical. And I always say that Hinduism is the best choice for humanity, especially now. The world needs Hinduism. It really does. A lot of their teachings is respect and love for all living things, even as much as a chicken. They try to promote vegetarianism because they give all respects to all living things, respect to Mother Nature. So just all the preachings in Hinduism is so logical, where in Islam and Christianity, they don't preach that. You slaughter an animal as a worship to God. So right there, I don't like that. That's violence to me. And I believe all animals are precious. So it's these little things in Hinduism, and Hinduism is so vast, not one person can grasp the whole concept of all the literature in Hinduism. It's just like that. It's mind blowing. It's amazing. It's something powerful. So it's things like this, just the simple basic tenets of Hinduism, that makes it so powerful, and it's so humane. And I really believe that the world needs Hinduism. So this what started my journey into India and to Hinduism and becoming a Hindu. So I hope I answered your question.
No, you answered it very well, Renee. Actually,
I wasn't sure
you
if
touched upon.
there was another question I didn't answer or not.
No, no, you answered it really well. In fact, you touched a topic that is very dear to my heart. The inherent difference between Hinduism and Christianity and Islam is very important for people to understand. In Christianity and Islam, it is the truth is absolute. Like you have to, there is a book and there is a messenger that brings the message in the book, and you have to believe in that. If you do not believe in it, then you're outside the fold of religion, maybe into the fold of the demons. But in Hinduism, it's not like that. There is no single book, there is no single religion. A person can be an now can be not be believing in God at all and be a Hindu, and can believe in God. And in some aspects of life, he can choose not to believe in God. He can even waver between belief and disbelief. And it is very surprising to note that some of the biggest leaders of Hinduism have been atheists. Veer Savarkar is supposed to be an atheist. He is the biggest leader of Hindu Mahasabha. So you really answered the question very well. Hinduism, the religion, you cannot even probably call it a religion. The way of life is very logical and scientific, and
Yes,
it
I
is it does not ask a person to believe in a particular god. And it you just spoke my mind when you said that. I was not expecting you to say that, but the answer was really good. Okay.
mhm.
And
And
um,
also one more thing I want to touch on. It's because of the ideology, especially in the Islam faith, why there's so much tragedy and terrorism in the world, because they're brainwashed to believe that ideology. Now, granted, Christianity, I call them the lesser of the two evils. We don't have jihad going around blowing people up. It's just you have to accept Jesus as your personal savior. And, they do conversions too. But in Islam, they are radical because it's in the Quran to kill the infidel, kill the kafir. So it's ideology like this is why there has been not just Hindu genocides all over. They're bombing people for not accepting Allah. So this is tragedy. That's why Hinduism, it's totally opposite of what Christianity and Hinduism preaches. And like what you said earlier, I just want to touch on that briefly, that even though, like, say someone like me, okay, I'm Hindu. I love the Hindu religion, way of life. Everybody wants to call it different things, but I know Hindus that could worship a tree. People can worship Jesus. It's open to that vast, where other religions like Christianity, it's not. It's either Jesus or it's either Allah, and that's it. And Hinduism, you lead your own path. If you want to worship a tree, worship a tree. You want to worship Lord Shiva, worship Lord Shiva. If you feel comfortable with Jesus, then that's fine too. And maybe a lot of Hindus might disagree with me. Maybe a lot of Hindus I hear say that we shouldn't really call it a way of life, and that we shouldn't accept other religions. But I disagree on that, because that's not what Hinduism is about. Hinduism is about love and peace. That's why Hinduism is totally different and sets its way apart from violence and hate. So that's my take on it.
You are
Yeah,
right, Renee. And Ashok, go ahead.
awesome. And I think I agree with you, Renee. And I keep telling people the primary difference between Hinduism and other religions is that in Hinduism, I can accept Jesus as my God. I can still pray to him, and I do. I have a Christ a cross in my prayer room as well. But the only difference is I do not believe that Jesus is the only God or the only source of attaining whatever I need to attain. One among
Exactly.
them, yes.
Exactly.
Right.
You put it exactly perfect. I absolutely agree with the same thing. Even me, like growing up, I was born and raised a Christian. So it's in my psyche. So even still, I pray to Jesus, I pray to Shiva, Krishna. And you know what? These are all paths to God. So it's a peaceful path to God. We don't want to be like the radical Christians or radical Islam, where you must accept Jesus, you must accept Allah, you're going to burn in hell. And oh, you won't accept Allah, then boom, you're blown up into pieces. See, that's the
So,
difference.
so I'm curious, knowing your background, you coming from a Catholic family in the state of New Jersey. What made you think to go towards Hinduism to begin with? What is it
I'm sorry,
that
there's a little bit of a breakup.
what is it that motivated you to go look towards Hinduism to begin with?
Oh, okay. So what really started it, well, me being a traveler and learning and questioning, different ideologies and things like that. I started doing just a little bit of reading on Indian philosophy. So what happened was I went to a mela, a fair in New Jersey one time. This is going back several years. And it was an Indian like fair. It was all about the Indian culture. They had food and clothes, and it was wonderful. So I went there, and this Hindu lady gave me a pamphlet. So I was reading that because it's so esoteric as compared to Christianity. So I was reading it, and as I'm reading it, it was so logical. and so practical and so peaceful. And I just love like the main principles of it. So even though Hinduism, it was so esoteric and so different than Christianity, I just knew, I just felt so attracted to it because it was so logical and practical and so peaceful. So that's what started me learning about Hinduism and the Indian philosophy. And it just makes perfect sense. I mean, even yoga changed my life. I'm a big advocate of yoga, and I always tell everybody, you should at least do yoga a couple times a week because I can't explain it. There's something magical about yoga. I can't explain it. When I get done my yoga session, doing my sun salutations and just the whole routine, I feel like magic. I feel like magic. It really is extremely powerful. And it's a shame because a lot of the Christian churches here, they say, don't do yoga. It's demonic. How stupid is that? Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God. So now what we have in America, because everybody's saying, no, it's demonic, it's evil, don't do yoga, you know. So now they have something called Christian yoga, where you do poses, right? And I don't know, I never been to a Christian yoga, but maybe they're taking away the philosophy. I don't know. So it's just like craziness like this. But I my yoga is, I don't know if you ever heard of him, BKS Iyengar.
Yes,
He's
heard of him.
I love him. So I do his form of yoga. Like everybody has their favorite. For me, I like him, so I do his yoga. So I just love the Indian philosophy. I'm learning about Ayurveda now because I don't believe in drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. I believe that God gave us all these plants, herbs to heal ourselves. So I'm reading now. I bought a book from David Frawley. Everybody knows who David Frawley is. He's amazing. What a genius, that guy. He is brilliant. So I bought his book because I can relate to David a lot. And he also incorporates, if you're here in America, you can't get the Indian herbs. He has substitutes for different herbs. So his book is just brilliant. So I want to learn more about Ayurveda because the Indian, the herbal science to heal yourself from whatever sickness or disease you have really lies in nature. It lies on what God has gave this planet, because natural remedies heals, reverses, and cures you from a disease, where pharmaceutical drugs don't. They only mask it like a band-aid and cover it up, but it never goes away and it only gets worse. That's why I'm a big advocate on health and herbs. So I think everybody should learn about Ayurveda also. Oh, I think I lost you guys?
No, we're
Renee, can you hear me
Oh,
now?
okay. I lost you guys.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah. No, you guys
Yeah.
disappeared. I didn't see you or hear anything. I thought you lost. I lost you on your end.
No, we are very much here. We really want to ask you a lot of questions. We are not going to disappear. Um, uh, Earlier you said, when you were making a statement, which I really agree with, like the outlook of Hinduism and the Hindu way of life, its culture is essential to humanity. In fact, I do believe strongly that Hinduism must be preserved for the good of humanity. Now, it looks like India has a lot of political challenges and difficult problems that we are facing for the last several centuries, but also now. If Hindus cease to exist in India, India ceases to exist, and therefore, going by that, I want to know your views on this. It looks like, today in India, the Hindus are not really, they do not have a healthy pride in their own culture and in their own roots. Um, what do you think ails the Hindus? Why are they not proud of their own culture? What is the problem?
Mhm. Well, I personally believe that, and the same thing is happening here in America. The education system in India is very liberal. Now, a lot of that started when Nehru was the prime minister. Okay, he always
Hmm.
talked about all this secularism. Okay, and he wanted Hinduism out. He really was anti-Hindu. He really was. And he talks
Hmm.
about secularism. No, this is pseudo-secularism, what he is talking about. It wasn't fair, I guess, if that's the right word to use. So because of that, and then slowly, you know, taking out Hindu heritage out of the syllabus, and then their parents go down, and then you have all these teachers, teaching all these the kids, very liberal education, always about the Mughals, not about the great heritage of India. So, if they're hearing about the Mughals, all these other
Right.
things, they don't hear about the pride and the Hindu heritage, then they're left with feeling ashamed of their own heritage, ashamed of being like an
Correct.
Indian, or an Indian, because they're not taught it. So if you're not taught something, how can you have any pride? And like the same thing like happens here in America. We're predominantly Christian, but we have these radical liberals too in the universities that are changing our history. They're actually changing it so people aren't proud to be an American. They're taking away the history. They don't want to teach it. And there's this whole political propaganda behind the whole thing, is
Hmm.
why they're doing
Right.
that here in America. And it's also same thing which is happening in India too. So we have these kids in high school and college, and they're taught things that aren't even
Right.
true, and they're changing the history. And this is how crazy it is. It became, they wanted to use politically correct. So you can't say Merry Christmas Jesus, but you can say Muhammad and Allah. All right, you can say any Islam festival, that's fine, but you can't say Merry Christmas. See, this is how
True.
radical it's got, and there's a whole political agenda behind the whole thing. Now, I believe the whole thing started too. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion from what I was reading and everything. What happened started with Nehru. He was anti-Hindu, where he wanted Hinduism taken away from everything. He didn't want the people to know about their own heritage, the Hindu heritage. But you can learn all about Islam and the Mughals. And these people
Correct.
think that Mughals are great, that they brought great things to India. This is what they're taught. No. Did they tell them how they slaughtered the Hindus? All the violence? No. They won't tell them how they slaughtered the Hindus. They twist it around in this sick, perverted way that the Mughals were so brilliant. Same thing is happening here in America, and a lot of it is from Islam. They want to conquer the world. That's what they want to do. The media in India and the liberals, same here in India and America, okay, they are pro-Islam. They're anti-Hindu, anti-Christian, okay, anti-America, anti-India. Same things that's going on, just different countries. That's why it's important that, see, I keep saying that I wish Modi would put the Hindu heritage back in the syllabus. Teach the kids, or at least the parents, teach your kids so they'll have a sense of pride for
Yeah,
India. So they will be proud to be a Hindu, and they won't be ashamed, because when they're being taught this liberal education, then how is there any pride? They feel
right.
ashamed, and I believe that they want them to feel ashamed, and it's really, really sad. So
True.
that's how I feel about the whole thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I agree with a lot of what you said. There is a lot of parallels between what is happening here in the US and what's happening in India. For example, even when we are taught our history, where the glory of Indian kings is suppressed when Mughals are promoted. Today, when you talk of tourism, all we talk about is Taj Mahal. There are hundreds of temples that are much more beautiful, and we don't talk about it. I agree with you a lot. Now, other things that get suppressed is when Islam started invading the world, Iran and Egypt succumbed to Islam within 50 years, but India resisted Islamic invasion for 400 plus years before we
Mm-hmm.
got conquered by the Muhammad Ghoris and his likes. You are right that the period of history where the Mughals and the Muslims ruled us is promoted as the best part of Indian history, and Indian history is completely suppressed. Now, that brings me to the next question. Do you think there is a need to rewrite history in true light? We do not want to suppress any truths. We do not want to falsely aggrandize Indian history in any way, but just present the truth. Do you think there is a need to research history, and for our government, especially we expect this out of a government like Modi government, to rewrite history with truth, emphasis on truth?
Oh, I absolutely, I agree. And I think that should be started right away. And it should be fair. See, that's the thing. It's not fair. Everything like what you said is glorified towards Islam, and and everything that they do gets glorified, even if it's horrific tragedy, it still gets glorified. And everything else, the great heritage, Hindu heritage, the great history of India, that gets on the back burner, because again, they're twisting and they're changing um, the history for whatever political agenda the people that or have power. And in America too, these Democrats and liberals are anti-American, okay, pro-Islam. For these people that are teaching these universities, they're changing all of the history, and you can see it happening right now with the riots. They're ripping down our statues. Okay, these
Right.
is the radical left that are ripping down our statues because they want to get rid of our history. They want to erase it all, just like what's slowly happening in India with the Hindu heritage. They want to erase it, just like they want to erase the Christian heritage. What happened to our forefathers? They want it all gone. They want it all gone. It's all because the liberals in India and America, this is all their agenda. And George Soros is a big part of it. And he's a big part of what happens in India. This guy comes from the pits of hell. He really does come from the pits of hell. So I think it's crucial. Thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God for Trump, or we would be doomed. We would be doomed.
Right.
And thank God for Modi. Thank God for Modi, because he's done so much for Hindus since he got in office in 2014 that no prime minister has ever done. And people call him, you're prejudiced against Muslims. No, he's not. he's done so much work for Muslims. I wrote a book about Narendra Modi. It took me 6 months of research, and I was even flabbergasted, going through the research and everything. He's done a lot for the Muslim, but now because he's sticking up for the Hindus, right? For the
Right.
first time, he's being fair. They don't want him to be fair. They just want Muslims to have special privileges, and that's not right. And the same thing is happening here in America.
Right. See, I don't think Modi is prejudiced against the Muslims. And if he is prejudiced against the prejudice in Muslims, then so be it. Now, you are right. You are right. We have one of the best prime ministers, probably the best prime minister since we got independence. But staying on the issue of the history, now August 5th, we are going to have inauguration of the construction of Ram Temple. So that is one of the issues that has been burning for almost 500 years now. It was a it was a civilizational wound to Hinduism, and
Yeah.
I have always been of the view that Ram Temple should be constructed back as a mark of reassertion of Hindus in their own land. We are not asking for a temple to be constructed in Mecca or Bethlehem. What we are asking is Ram Temple be constructed where Ram was born. So it had to be done. What are your views on this?
No, I totally agree with you. And I have to applaud Subramaniam Swamiji. He's really worked so hard in all his fights, which was going on to have the Ram Mandir temple reconstructed. Look, they had proof that was originally the Ram Mandir temple, and the Muslims built a mosque over it. That's fact. That's fact. So the Hindus, here we go again. The Hindus get discriminated upon. So that was great. It was awesome for the Hindus because it was their land initially. The Muslims came and built a mosque over top of it. So what happened is it was a great day in history when they can rebuild the Ram Mandir and celebrate their heritage, a piece of their heritage that was taken away. See, this because we got to keep getting the victory all the time, because we can't keep letting these genocides and all these attacks from this angle and this angle. So it's great. And I was so happy. I'm so proud of Subramaniam Swamiji for all the great work that he's done. So this is a great part of history now that the Hindus, got the piece of their land back, and it was just such a big celebration. I was so happy when I heard that news.
Right. Thanks to Subramanian Swamiji's untiring work on this. After all, what we are asking is, we did not invade Mecca or Jerusalem and built a temple there. We are asking for a temple to be built in our own land where a temple existed before.
Yeah.
Would Muslims allow if we had constructed a temple after demolishing their holy shrine in Mecca? Is it reasonable for Hindus to be asking that the temple should be left in place there? It is unreasonable. So that brings me to my next question.
There would be bloody war if we did that.
Right, right. See, that brings me to my next question. There are two other really holy sites, Mathura and Kashi, Varanasi, where mosques have been built adjoining to our temples as a slap on our face. What should be done about those places? Should construction of Ram Temple be the end of our demand on this line, or should we also demand that the temple in Mathura and Varanasi should be reinstated to their past glory?
Yeah, I've been to the Mathura temple, and I at that time I had went with a friend of mine, and he was telling me how they just came along, built a mosque on top of Krishna's birthplace, and it's just Like, could you imagine if Hindus did that on top of a mosque? They would, all war would break out. There would be a bloodbath everywhere. I think personally, the Hindus should demand, the mosque removed, and and demand that, what gives them the right to just come in and place mosque over top Hindu temples? Because if we keep letting these people invade India and invading the Hindus, then they feel like they can walk all over you. There has to come to a point, where, everybody raise their voice. Everybody fights for justice for Hindus. Otherwise, this nonsense will keep, and this unfairness will keep happening. And it's just, it blows my mind when India is 80% Hindus, but something like this happens. And I feel like a lot of the Hindus are just quiet and they're silent. No, you can't be like that. You can't be. You
Right.
have to raise your voice, and you have to be vocal, and you have to get out there, and you have to do the work, whatever you have to do, because this is
Right.
crucial. Enough is enough. We don't want no mosque on our ancient Hindu temples. It's not right. What gives you the right to just come on in and plant your mosque up top Hindu temples, our property, our land? Why are you doing that? And they're getting away with it, because the Hindus need to stand up once and for all and start defending your heritage before it's too late.
Right. Renee,
Yeah.
Ashok, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a question from one of our viewers, Tom Patnaik. Renee, this is for you. And the question is, how do we dispel the mistrust being circulated? And how do we bring the likes of
I'm
Julia
sorry,
Roberts?
I can hear that.
And how
There's
do we bring, I apologize for the static
Ashok,
in
please
the sound.
repeat the entire question, Ashok. Please repeat the
Yes.
entire question.
Yes. So how do we dispel the mistrust being circulated in the mainstream media? And how do we bring the likes of Julia Roberts more into activism like what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Great question.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I heard Julia Roberts. She goes to India. She loves India. But she's not like an activist for India, but she does put out there that she does like India, and she does put out there that she's a Hindu, and I'm not too sure which form she worships, but I know she has said a lot of great things about India. So regarding the media, see, that's just a huge problem with the international mainstream media here and some Indian media. The lies that they say now, even about Modi, about Trump, about the horrible things they say about India, that India is dangerous, India is the rape capital of the world. All these lies that they put out it's just so disgusting to me. So that is, we need to all come together and put our voices out there, because if you do nothing and you just sit on the sidelines, then people are going to hear all the fake news, they're going to hear all the lies, and they're going to believe it. That's why we need to be active. You need to do something. You just can't say, oh, I can't believe they're saying this lie about India or Modi, and don't do nothing. Okay, then don't say nothing if you're not going to do nothing. See, I got mad as hell because as being it back and forth from India 23 times, I seen all the lies that the media was saying about India, Western media here, and even some Indian media in India. So that's why I wrote my book, India Stripped. It's a bunch of research, facts, data, and it's my own personal journey coming in and out of India 23 times. So I let people know the truth. Listen to me. I'm a solo travel in India. I've been all over India 23 times, day and night, bus, trains, everywhere. I've been treated with the best hospitality of any other country in the world. I've never had any problems. This is the true fact about India. That's why I wrote my book. And I've had foreigners wrote me and say, thank you, Dad. I read your book and I believe you. And I'm going to come to India. So this is great. See, this is stuff that we have to do to put the truth out there. So now we have social media now. Do videos, do some research, do some data, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, make a YouTube video, whichever you like, but you have to do something to get the truth out. Now, the work I do, this is my full-time work now, so, which I like, it's my pride, but that's why I had to write the book, because I'm pissed off. This has to stop. Now, we got to keep doing it all the time, because if we do nothing, everybody's going to hear fake news. So get out there, counterattack this fake news with the truth, with good stuff. So, we can tackle it down. So that's the way how I feel that we need to deal with the media. And believe me, it works. It works. People, it change people's mind. Believe me, I've done it. It works. And don't feel like you're a nobody. You can't make a difference. Everybody can make a difference on their own level. That's why it's crucial that we all come together and we all do. Yeah, especially because India has got a very, very bad name. And what pisses me off is these surveys, CNN, Thomas Retter, they just tell blatant lies about India. A couple years ago, they did that one research study that India was the most dangerous country in the world for women. Okay? Well, if India is the most dangerous country in the world for women, more than Iraq, Iran, Syria? Are you kidding me? Pakistan? Have I ever been to any of them countries? No, because I will not make it out alive. These women are beaten down. If they don't wear their hijab, they go to prison and they are whipped. In Indonesia, in Iran, okay? These women can't drive. They have no rights. They're walking around with chains on their legs. Are you kidding me? And you say that India is the most dangerous country in the world for women. This sick surveys, sick fake news like this that pisses me off. So I did a video that went viral debunking CNN Thomas Ritter's survey about that, because it's things like this that is disgusting. Now people read that. People actually believe that, and women won't come to India now because they read crap like this. That's why it's so important, people. Get out there and tell the truth about India. It's things like this that just makes me so mad. So my video went a kind of viral on Facebook, and I was glad because it just hurts my feelings. Like, are you kidding me? Women in India, they have freedom, they're educated, I mean, they're entrepreneurs, they're leaders. Women is considered a goddess, and you say that? See, this is just a hypocrisy. It's just it's mine.
You echo the words of my wife, Renee. She says, "Are you kidding me? India is more dangerous than Pakistan and Afghanistan. Who is writing all these articles?" That brings me to a follow-up question, though. Why? See, you grew up in America in this culture. Why is that these people in CNN, these highly educated people in CNN and liberal media, constantly write against New York Times, constantly write against India? Are they just ignorant, or uh, some interest groups are giving them favors and they are returning their favors or their pens sold. What makes
Mhm.
them write these things? Does such blatant lies? What does your
Well,
research tell you?
well, a lot of it is, again, these in America, to start there, these liberals and these Democrats, okay, they are pro Soros,
Hmm.
CNN. If anybody don't know who George Soros is, I think everybody knows who George Soros is. He's the
Yep.
billionaire. Okay, so he hates Modi. He hates Trump. Okay, he pays CNN. He pays the Washington Post. He pays the New York Times. He pays them. He pays them off to say what he wants to say. When Bush was running back in the election, I can't remember off the top of my head if it was, I think it was the father, not the son. He put out millions and millions and millions of dollars because he doesn't want a Republican in office. Now, guaranteed, he is pumping in millions and millions of dollars so Donald Trump does not win the election. This is all liberals, all pro Islam doing this to India and also doing this to America, making up all these lies, making up all these stories for their own political agenda because they have very left liberal views on anything. And they don't even they have no consideration for Modi supporters, Trump supporters, nationalists, Republicans, conservatives. To them, we're just, we're scum to them. Okay, we're scum. They want to take away Christianity out of America. They want to take Hinduism out of India. They want to bring in Sharia law. They want to bring in Islam. See, this is their whole agenda, why they're doing this. And the media should be ashamed of themselves because this isn't what journalism isn't about. And these people, I don't know how these people sleep at night making up all these lies for money. And you're telling me they can sleep at night peacefully? I mean, this is just outrageous. How these people will do anything for money. It's sickening.
You are absolutely correct, Renee. There are a lot of parallels between today's India and America. Just like how the
Yeah.
media here is completely against the right of the polity, it is the same thing in India. Luckily for us, in India, we have some news channels that have come out that are more fair and are presenting information in a more fair way. Again, to go to another topic, which is again a parallel between America and India, just like how Hollywood is completely on the left of the polity, Bollywood is also very similar. There is a lot of things
Yeah.
that Bollywood does. Their movies, their Netflix series, all these that they made, like Patal Lok, like the movie Haider, like the movie Family Man, all these things that they made are completely against India and Hinduism. They project Indians and the Indian police force, Indian army in a bad light, whereas they project terrorists and fundamentalists in a good light and show their human side. Now, what is your
Yes.
opinion on why this is happening? Why is this happening? Such a parallel, and what is your opinion on Bollywood on this front?
Oh, I know. It's the same thing. There's so much comparison in what's going on in India and America today. And also, them Bollywood celebrities, how they act so anti-Hindu, anti-Modi. Same thing here in America. These Hollywood celebrities, anti-Trump. Oh my God, you should hear how they disrespect our president just because you don't like the guy. These people slam him, all these lies, all these fake stories on Twitter, on Facebook. It's just so disgusting. I mean, and practically all of them are liberals. And to mention, because you had mentioned that there's some news channels in India now that are fair. Well, we have a few here, but one of the biggest media news channel is Fox News. I only watch Fox News. They're like in middle of the road. They tell you the truth. Okay, what's going on both sides. They're unbiased, not like CNN is the worst. Oh my God. Everything out of CNN is a lie. You can see the hatred, and they all hate Trump. They hate him so much. It's just sickening. That's why these people are watching CNN and they're believing all this crap. They're believing all this crap because they're watching CNN. But I'm happy to say that people are catching on the fake news, fake CNN, because Fox News is the #1 rated news channel in America. So that's good. People are tuning in to watch Fox because they know they're going to get the truth out, because CNN has become notorious as being fake news.
Correct. I completely agree with you on the question of media bias. Basically, the media should present what is true, and we are not interested in their opinion. Let them just report the news, and we will make an opinion based on what we see. Luckily for India, like how I said, we have a few news channels that are more fair. Now, coming to Bollywood again, there is another angle. Not only just a liberal or left bias in Bollywood, Bollywood also frequently gets accused of being in cahoots with terrorists and getting funding from outside India to present stories and pictures in such a way that the overall premise is anti-India. That is one of the big problems that we have in India. Do you observe this also in Bollywood movies?
Yes, they, the Bollywood celebrities act so anti-Hindu, so pro-Islam, pro-Pakistan. And just look at what happens when something happens to a Hindu, how silent they are. But something happens to a Muslim girl, here they come all out, and they're so vocal and they're loud. They got place cards, candles, poor Sifa, right? But if something happens to a Hindu girl, something happens to a Hindu priest, nothing. Nothing. They're quiet. These people are hypocrites. Hello, Hindus in India, you're 80%. Wake up. You know it, and I know it, that these people act anti-Hindu. So why would you even watch any of their movies? Why would you give them 1 rupee? Let them all suffer. Let them all suffer. Let them all go bankrupt. They're disgusting. They are absolutely disgusting how they treat the Hindu community. They really are. Same thing here in Hollywood. Okay. They hate the Christians too. They do. They won't stand up for the Christians. They say Trump is a racist, and he hates all other religions. They paint him as a racist and a white supremacist, but that's not the truth. That's not the truth. The same thing is happening here. What's happening in Bollywood? I think Bollywood. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a lot worse than Hollywood. I really do. These people are sick. These people are sick. We really need to
Right.
boycott Bollywood big time. Now, I will say I do watch some Bollywood movies. I do like Akshay Kumar. I do
Yes.
love him. He's good. RJ is good. There are a few ones that are good that I will watch, and I wanted to watch the movie Yuri. As long as these people stand up for Hindus, which Akshay Kumar has done, okay? And if it's a good patriotic movie, the truth about India or Hindus, that's fine. But all these people like Kareena Kapoor, Priyanka Chopra, Ali Bhatt, all these Deepika, forget about them. You've seen their true colors. You've seen how they are. Now we know how they are, so boycott all of them. Boycott their movies. But Akshay Kumar, we've seen how he is. He's not like that. That's why
Right.
if it's an Akshay Kumar movie, yes. If it's something like a patriotic one, I will watch.
Right. Another one to mention, just so you know, is Kangana Ranaut. She's also very, very pro-India, and she is very fair. Ashok, go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get our viewers' questions onto the
Sure, sure.
discussion. So again, the question again from Tom Patnayak is, what steps can we take to bring big names into Hindu activism? How do we neutralize professors like Audrey Rutgers University?
Oh, I did hear the first. I didn't hear the second part. But the first part, for some reason on your end, there's a breakup. I have a hard time hearing on your end. But I think you said the first question, how to bring big people in.
Correct.
So
Into
really hard because you know why? Just like here in U.S., a lot of them are very liberal. They are. They're very liberal. So either you can change their thoughts, change the facts, so they know the truth. But other than that, honestly, I really don't know. I think it's because they're so liberal and they're just in their ways. And 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 I'll just give you an example in Hollywood here. Now, there's some Trump supporters, but they won't say anything because you know why? They'll be out of money because there was a few singers and stars, movie stars that said something good about Trump, that supported Trump, and they got a lot of backlash. A lot of backlash. This
Yes.
is the same thing I'm sure will happen in Bollywood. But some stars
True.
in America, they don't care. They're like, screw you, I don't really care. But this is how sick they are. If a big Hollywood star, let's just say it's Brad Pitt, comes out and say, oh, I love President Trump, he's doing great work. Here comes the media. Here comes the liberals, all them. Boycott him, boycott. So these people won't say anything because, you know, this is their bread and butter, what they do. Whether they're making music or making movies, this is their bread and butter. So they keep quiet. They don't want to come out. They're silent about it so they won't get humiliated by the media. And I believe the same thing happens too in India. Maybe there are some
Right.
people behind the curtains, you know?
Right, you're right. There is in Bollywood media, there are people that are pro Modi and pro India and have India's interest in their heart, but a lot of them who are powerful and who control the industry are kind of I hate to say this and I'm sad to say this, that sound anti-India, not just anti-Modi, they're anti-India. I don't know, I don't understand what goes on in their heads, and they control the industry, and young and upcoming people are pressured to take the same stance. If they don't, their career is doomed. Just like how you said, that's all is what they know. Singing and acting, their career gets doomed if they differ in opinion. There is a lot of bias. I'll move on to a different topic. I have heard you talk about Shabrimala temple and the temples in India. There is such a systemic bias against Hinduism in India that since the time of independence, for some reason, we have rules framed that takes away the temples of money to the government. We are not even, and there are instances where this money is used to promote Hajj pilgrimage or conversion into Christianity and things like that. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I know. You know what really just blows my mind is that the government has control over Hindu temples, but not mosque and not churches. This just blows my mind. I don't understand this. I don't know. Is there any way that we can, you know, change this? I mean, I really don't know deep the factuals about it, but I don't know if everybody stopped giving donations to the Hindu temples, would this stop that? I really don't know, but how to like go about something like that unless you stop giving donations
Right.
to the temple. But other than that, it just blows my mind. It just blows my
Right.
mind. Why only Hindu temples? Why does discrimination always against the Hindus, where the Muslims and the Christians, you know, they have more freedom, and the Hindus don't? Again, this is such discrimination against the Hindus. So there's got to be something that the Hindus can do in order to stop this. I don't know if that's really, I'm really not too sure if that's one way of going about it. Just stop giving donations to the temple or what.
I don't know. Maybe somebody like Subramaniam Swamiji knows the legalities of what to do to prevent this from happening, so that the government, donations given by Hindus does not go into the government kitty, you know, and it is used for promotion of the temples and their faith. Um,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
also,
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe if everybody stops donating to the temple, then maybe this will stop.
right. Now, I also have another question that relates to Hinduism. After having watched your videos, what is your opinion on cow slaughter? Should it be banned? Should it not be banned? The liberal take on this is it should not be banned. Everybody should have freedom of choice of their food. But at the same time, 80% of the population considers cows as holy, and it is plain and simple, insensitive to somebody else's views when you slaughter cows in India. What's your view on that?
Hmm. Well, I think, first of all, India is 80% Hindus, and also cow is holy to Hindus. Okay? They worship cows. So to allow slaughter in a predominantly Hindu country, and they know that cow is holy to Hinduism, but and to allow, I think there should be more stricter rules to stop the slaughtering of cows in India for just them two reasons that, you know, India is 80% Hindus. I mean, here we go again with the Hindu discrimination. And also, well, I'm a vegetarian, so for me personally, I don't eat any meat. But I know some Hindus, you know, might take chicken, but a true Hindu would never eat a cow meat. And also, cow is like mother. She's such a sweet animal. Cows have such deep emotions and affections, and they bond with their owners, and they give us milk so we can have all these byproducts of milk. A live cow is better than a dead cow. I mean, so, and it's just hurting Hindu sentiments, because I see it's disgusting when people post on Twitter and Facebook the cows that are getting slaughtered, and you see them hanging, and how these people are torturing the cows and they're in pains. This is disgusting. And even if you take away the religious aspect of it, just come on, where's humanity? Not even if we put Hinduism in it or Hindus, where's the humanity? Do they see the torture, the pain, the agony that these cows are going through? I mean, I'm sorry. Anybody kills a cow, if I was a prime minister, you're going to go to jail for 10 years. Anybody gets caught killing a cow, you're going to go to jail for 10 years. That's the way it should be.
Um, I want to touch upon another issue. In the beginning of the interview, I mentioned that Hinduism has to be preserved in India for the good of humanity. Now, the problem that India is facing is, if you go over a history of about 1,000 years, India, which is extended from Afghanistan all the way to maybe many Southeast Asian countries, has become contracted and become a smaller, much smaller piece of land. Now, one of the challenges that Hinduism faces is conversion to other religions from Hinduism. Many times, see, if somebody, like how we said, somebody likes the philosophy of another religion and you want to follow another system, then that is fine. But converting somebody by inducement, especially monetary or other inducements, or by coercion or at the point of a sword, is a problem. And when large number of people get converted like that, then Hinduism might cease to exist. So what do you think about there is a question of anti-conversion bill. I don't know whether it is making rounds or whether the Modi government is thinking about it. Jayalalitha in Tamil Nadu had done it. And do you think there should be an anti-conversion bill to prevent this morally and ethically lowly practice of converting people by coercion, by inducements? What do you think?
That's a really good question, because part of Hinduism, everybody has freedom. They don't push religion on other people like the Christians do and how the Muslims do. But on the other end of the coin, it is a big problem, because you have all these Christian missionaries coming in from US, Canada, Europe, and they're going in India in the flocks. Okay, and they're doing bribery. You accept Jesus, and then I will feed you, I will give you clothes, I will educate you. Okay, you can still do that. You can come in, and let's just say you go to a village and there's some poor people, they're having a horrible life, or they're starving, they need medical treatment. Okay, go in with your organization, clean them up, give them some food, give them some nice cloths, a nice place to live. Make sure that the kids, are going to school so they can get an education, so they can have a better future for themselves. You don't have to you don't have to force them that you're only going to get this if you accept Jesus, or you're only going to get this if you accept Allah, Muhammad. That part is wrong. I totally agree with that. Let people be who they want to be. If you are a real Christian or you are a real Muslim, then for humanity, you will take care of somebody and clean them up, give them a better education without forcing somebody. It's kind of like bribery and threatening somebody. That part, yes, I do believe that there should be an anti-conversion bill. But, let's just say somebody's not being influenced by any organization, and they say, you know what, I went to church and I really like the teachings. I found it peaceful. I want to learn about Jesus on their own free will. Then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And that's the beauty of Hinduism. They don't prophesize other religions and force it on other people. They let them be who they are. So I think it's kind of really a touchy situation. But these people that are coming in and they're getting these visas, and they're not supposed to be doing that, they're doing it. And they should be banned from India for doing such forced conversions like this. And what it's doing in India now it's becoming a racketeer. I mean, you have now Punjab. Oh my God, you have these fake pastors, doing all this Jesus worship stuff, casting out demons out of people, and you got these actors rolling on the floor, they're making money. I mean, some of these videos, it's just comedy hour. Like, I saw you in a previous video. You were strolling on the floor getting rid of demons. And then you'll see him a month later, the same guy rolling on the floor acting like demons are getting cast out of them. So, it's
Oh
gotten
God.
really out of hand now. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with these people? They're acting like crazy fools for 10 rupees? Are you kidding me?
It's really cheap, and you are right. You make a correct statement. If somebody wants out of their free will finds peace in another messenger's teaching, that's fine. That's fine. But you cannot bribe or induce people into. You cannot harvest souls. You cannot buy people's souls for your God. That is not an acceptable practice. But I'm sure this will be a very sensitive topic. It will be politically difficult to do these things, but we know what is right and what is wrong. You should not have these activities going on like this. It is morally and ethically lowly to do that. But we will
Mm-hmm.
see. We have had one of the best prime ministers since our independence. We hope that he is able to do things for the country that are long pending. On that note, how do you like Modi?
Oh, I think he's great. He's done so much for India. Um, I love how he's cleaning up India. It's part of his clean campaign. I love how he's finally defending the Hindus after decades and decades of Hindus being discriminated against. I love the Citizenship Amendment Act. I love the abolishment of Article 370. This guy is like Trump. He is no coward. He does what is right and he doesn't care. I think he's done wonderful things politically in India, and I'm a big fan of him. I love how he can be a political person, but yet he can be such a spiritual person. He balances them both very nicely. So I like both
Yep.
characteristics of Modi. And Trump is the same way. He's a very smart, powerful businessman, was never a politician, but he's a better politician than any politician that we've ever had as a president. And he's also a devout Christian. He loves to read his Bible. He's very spiritual and he loves to go to church. So I love how, and it's so interesting, there's so much of um, similarities between right now India, Modi, and Trump and the
Correct.
USA. It's so much, and both media and liberals in USA and India, they all hate Trump, they hate Modi, they're anti-India, and they're anti-America. They hate them both in both countries.
Right. Right. See, you
Well,
touch upon the topic of. Go ahead, Ashok.
sorry, Dr. Ajit. Again, I noticed that we are an hour, 15 minutes into the event. We have about 15
Right.
minutes left. I want to
Correct.
keep it to the 90 minutes so that we
Hmm.
go on with the stuff. Having said that, and since you brought up the topic of Modi ji and Donald Trump, this being a
Right.
very important year for the United States, being the election year, uh, any opinions on this elections and how it's going, and on the Black Lives Matters movement,
Oh, okay. So
and the
I'm glad that you answered that question because I wanted to get to the points before we close on the elections, Hindu Americans, and things like that. So, firstly, on Black Lives Matter, they are a terrorist organization. They were set up back in 2011 by none other than the wicked evil man George Soros. He is behind this whole thing that's going on in America right now with Black Lives Matter, with these anarchies starting riots in democratic cities, democratic mayors, and democratic governors. They're letting them tear down the cities. Every day in these big democratic cities, dozens of people are dying. Dozens. Millions upon millions of businesses are done, destroyed. They're letting them do this. And why? Why are they letting them do this? It's for one reason and one reason only: to make Donald Trump look like a racist and to make him look like a white supremacist, that he started all this. So when Trump wanted to bring in the military in these democratic cities, these democratic mayors and governors say, no, we don't want them. Well, he's trying to solve your problem, but see, they want this to happen. Now they want to defund the police. They don't want the police. Are you kidding me? Since they started defunding the police, we're having deaths daily. It's dangerous out there in these democratic cities. They're letting them destroy our country. This is how sick the media is, all for one reason: the Democrats want power back. They want Donald Trump out of office because they're pro-Islam and anti-American, anti-Israel. They can't stand the fact that Trump is not feeding Pakistan billions of dollars anymore that Obama did. All you Obama lovers out there, are you kidding me? He fed Islam. Him and Hillary started ISIS. Trump stopped feeding all these Islamic countries billions of dollars. He's feeding it to Israel because Obama never cared about Israel. He hates the Jews, okay? Barack Hussein Obama hates the Jews. Trump made Jerusalem the capital of Israel. He's sending billions of dollars to protect Israel. They need it because Islam is trying to destroy Israel. Now, Joe Biden, I wrote down here all these, here it is. Joe Biden and the Democrats, all these Democrats here, and some of them are Indian. Ilhan Omar, we all know who she is. Nancy Pelosi, Rashida Tlaib, I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong. Pramila, Pramila Jayapal, oh, another Indian, nasty. Rohit Khanna, another Indian Democrat, nasty. Alexander Cortez, all these, and there's many more Democrats, okay, and Joe Biden, okay. They're all fighting against CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. They've been fighting against Modi when he abolished Article 370, the NRI, the National Register Citizens. They're fighting against that. Now there's another bill in New York Senate about the swastika, that they want to ban the swastika. They're saying that it's deemed a hateful symbol. So now the Hindus are coming together to counter attack that bill, that they're saying that the swastika is hateful, and they're missing the whole concept of that with Hinduism. So all these Democrats, okay, and Joe Biden, okay, they're always attacking Modi. They're always attacking India. Okay, Joe Biden's always got his interest in India, attacking everything Modi. Okay, so these Democrats, I mean, wake up! All these Hindu Americans that are going to be voting in November, mind who you vote for, because if you vote for any Democrat And Joe Biden, you're selling your soul to the devil, okay? You're selling your soul to Islam, okay? When you vote for these evil people. So just remember in November, when you go to vote, a vote for any Democrat and a vote for Joe Biden is a vote against India. It's a vote against India heritage. Okay, a vote for Biden and a vote for any Democrat. You're voting for Islam. Okay, that's what you're doing. You're voting for Islam. Okay, Trump has always been, him and Modi, okay, they've always been great friends. They've even had even closer bonds in the last couple years. And Trump always says that he will defend India against radical Islamic terrorism. Now, Obama won't say it, Hillary won't say it, Biden won't say it. They won't say radical Islamic terrorism. But Trump does say radical Islamic terrorism. He calls it for what it is, and that is what it is. Because these people are pro-Islam. That's why they won't call it by its name, and that's what it is. So when you go and vote, just remember, your vote really makes a difference in saving Hindus and Hindus' cultures. So when you vote for any Democrat, you vote for Joe Biden, you want another Hindu genocide? Okay, you're voting. Look what happened with Islamic terrorism to the Kashmiri Hindus. Okay, look what happened to them because of Islam. Look what happened to all the slaughter in India. So just think about that when you vote, because these people, they want Islam in India. They want Islam in America. Joe Biden just said he wants Islam in the schools here in America. Trump said, no, we don't want Islam in here. They want to have Sharia law in America now. Trump said, no, we don't want Sharia law in America. We go by the Constitution of the United States. If these people don't like it, then go live in Iraq or go live in Iran. We don't want it here. So that's why I always advocate to the Hindus, America, be careful who you vote for. Because you even think about voting for Biden, you're voting against your own heritage. You're voting against India, okay? And you're voting for another Hindu genocide. Just remember that, okay? Remember your forefathers, okay, that were slaughtered in the hands of Islam, okay? Do you want that? So if I were you, I would vote for Trump, okay? Because he's standing for the Hindus and he's standing with India, okay? And Joe Biden, okay, is standing for Muslims and standing for Islam. He wants Islam in our schools now. He wants us to learn about Muhammad, okay? He wants Sharia law, okay? So just remember that, because this election is the biggest election in history. This is the death of America and India, Hindus and Christians. If Joe Biden ends up winning this election, it's seriously unlikely that he will. But I'm just saying to my American Hindus who are watching this video, please do not sell your soul to the devil, okay? The devil being Joe Biden and all his radical Democrats. Think about the Hindus that were slaughtered in the hands of Islam. When you go and vote on November 3rd, okay, just please remember that. Vote for Trump, okay, in honor of all your Hindu brothers, sisters, anybody from ancestors that was slaughtered in the hands of Islam.
Thank you very much for that powerful closing comments, Renee. We are left with less than 5 minutes. Ashok, do you have any questions?
I have one question from one of our viewers, but time permit, you can answer it. What is your opinion, take on the recently passed CAA and NRC bills in India, the Citizen Amendment Act and the National Register of Citizenship?
I think it was great. That's why I really appalled Modi and Amit Shahji, because Hindus have been slaughtered enough, and you know what? So have the Jews. Okay, all in the hands of Islam. So what really bothers me is that we're talking about religious minorities like Hindus, Jews, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists living in predominantly Islamic countries being slaughtered. Look what they're doing in Pakistan. There's hardly any Christians and Hindus left in Pakistan. They're all disappearing. All the Hindu temples are disappearing. So for Joe Biden, the Democrats here, okay, even the people in India, okay, the liberals, the media, to say that Modi is a racist, a fascist, because he wants to save minority lives in majority Muslim countries. It has nothing to do with discriminating against Muslims. They're already a majority in their country. They're happy there. Let them live there. It has nothing to do with discriminated against Muslims. It has to do with religious minorities. He's saving the lives. This is a wonderful, wonderful bill. And they know the truth. Where are all the Hindus in Pakistan? I don't have my data here. But in 1950, it was what? Again, I can't remember. I think it was like 15.9. I don't, maybe higher. I don't really remember. Now,
23. I've heard of 23%. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like 1%. Where are they? They know. And the UN, shame on the UN, right? They're always siding with Pakistan. Are you kidding me? They side with Pakistan. You know, they are anti-Hindu. They don't like the Hindus and the Jews. They never stick up for them. They know Pakistan is a terrorist hub of the world. They know Pakistan is dangerous. They know that they're killing the Christians. They know that they're killing the Hindus, but still they'll sit there and defend them. Okay, just like how they always go against Israel. You know, the Palestinians. Oh, the poor Palestinians. Oh my God, are you kidding me? So I think it's a wonderful bill, and all these illegal immigrants that's coming over to India. Yeah, we don't want, even in America, we don't want these illegal immigrants coming in the right way. We don't want you. Trump was right when he built the wall.
Correct.
Okay, the border. We don't want illegal immigrants. They're drug addicts. They're rapists. They're killing people. So Modi's right. We need to filter out, get these illegal immigrants out of the country. We don't want them. They're dangerous. You want to come to India, you want to come to America, okay, you can do it the right way. We don't want illegal immigrants. And I'll say one thing, all these people from South coming in, Mexico, all in them countries coming over here illegal, these people are dangerous. They're rapists. Why can't you come over illegally? Look at all the Indians from India. They wait in line. They do everything legally, and they come here legally, okay? So they need to follow the standards of the people in India when they come to America, okay? They follow the book. So these people here in Mexico, so I'm very proud that Trump built that wall, and I think Modi should do the same thing. I think you should filtrate all them illegal immigrants out of India, because I'm sure they're just as dangerous as these ones that are coming from Mexico into our country.
Right.
Thank you, Renee. I'm sure we'll take this message from you, representing the oldest democracy in the world, to India, the largest democracy in the world. We thank you for your time. And I would like to take this occasion to thank Madhumita Sarkar ji from New Jersey, who has been instrumental
Thank you, Mita ji.
who's been instrumental in connecting us. and we hope to do a lot more shows, a lot more talk shows with you in the future as well, time permitting, of course.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
very much
yeah.
from my side too.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a great discussion. I got a lot off my chest that I wanted to put out there. Yeah, but next time I had mentioned that next time let's have a link ahead of time because there wasn't no link, so it would have been hard for people to try to find out where to go and what to do the next minute. So next one, let's do the YouTube link so people could just click it and go instead of trying to find the but we still have the video. People
Yeah,
couldn't find it or come on, so this way I can share it on my Facebook page and my Twitter account, so people can see it that didn't have an opportunity to join in. But yeah, it was a great discussion. I enjoyed talking to you both. There was just great questions, and I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Mita J. I appreciate everything.
Thank you
thank you.
very much. Namaste, Renee. We will take
Thank,
leave now. We hope to meet you soon again.
thank you. Ram Ram.
Ram Ram.
Jai Shri- Yeah.